Welcome to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Kristina Kepperling and Rob Kepperling of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. And to our viewers at home, we're talking about a very important topic, inflation. Kristina, how are you today?
Excited to talk about inflation.
Me too. I can't wait to dive right into it. Rob, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking.
So good to have both of you together in the studio, because I know how busy you are and yet you always take time to come in to do the shows, and I know the viewers appreciate that. I appreciate it so much. But this is such an important topic today, inflation. It still remains literally everywhere you go, and I know that there's different studies out there that are saying that inflation is coming down, but I'm not feeling it when I go to the grocery store. I'm not feeling it when I go to the gas station. So let's talk about, first of all, how does inflation impact all of us? Kristina?
Well, first off, inflation does not go down. It's so funny how we keep hearing this on the news. Folks, that is not true in any way whatsoever. There's actually a levelity to inflation is what it normally is. And the levelity rate for inflation is going to be 2 to 4 times that inflationary period on average. And that's according to Kiplinger, by the way. So when we're talking about that, if inflation is for 2 years, it could be 4 to 8 years before there's a levelity of that inflation. That's a big deal. It lasts a long time.
Wow, it really does. And if you're not prepared for inflation, Rob, what happens?
Well, I think that's what we look at. The study shows that 42% of people getting close to retirement have that as a major concern, and that's one of their uneasy feelings about going into retirement. And that brings me to an email we received this past week. A lady was just worried about everything going up in prices, and things were getting a lot tougher on her. Credit cards bills were going higher, and I think that's what we're seeing across the board from a lot of people that are just uneasy about exactly what's going on.
And also, the study also said 25% cited a lack of savings, and the two are related. So lack of savings and inflation go hand in hand, Kristina?
Well, we can't really save when we're having to spend more just for everyday needs, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm not just seeing inflation in a few things. It's literally across the board. So here in the Kentuckiana area, over the last couple of years, we've had some really bad weather. So everyone's auto insurance and home insurance has gone through the roof because there were so many claims. And then, of course, with COVID and our financial crisis here, housing has gone through the roof.
Oh, yes.
So because the prices of the homes went up, they increased the taxes as well. So right there, just taxes and insurance on something that you need every day, housing and transportation, that's a really big deal. Then you start factoring in utilities, and I know our cell phone bill has gone up, and television subscriptions have gone up, food, fuel, everything has gone up. So across the board, we're seeing inflation. In some households, we're calculating inflation because if you don't have the number right, we're making decisions between what's needed and being able to just live.
Absolutely. And Rob, also it says in that same study that 60% of retirees report their retirement account balances decreased over the past 12 months due to inflation.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Kristina just said. I mean, we're spending more money. Where does it come from? If you're not making any more money, you're spending it, it's got to come from somewhere. So it's either going to come from credit cards or savings accounts, and that's going to cause your overall account to go down. And that's just the way it is for a lot of people. And I think we're all concerned about this at this point.
Sure, it makes perfect sense. And I know a common question that people are asking, Kristina, is how much do we withdraw from our retirement account to make sure that we don't run out of money? How do you figure that out?
Well, first off, running out of money and curbing inflation are two totally different things. I mean, they are mutually exclusive, because for most retirement accounts, let's say that you're using that 4% rule. Well, if you're only withdrawing 4% of your retirement account, what if inflation goes up 2%? Then that next year you would have to increase it to 6% just to keep pace with what your needs are. Folks, this is a very volatile situation when we're having a conversation about withdrawing too much too quickly, which does draw down that retirement account.
Sure.
I think we see that a lot of times in people that are early on retirement. We get in a situation where we're going all these house projects to do, and we start thinking, you know what, I have time now. I can pull this money out to work on this project, or maybe we need a new roof, maybe we need an HVAC system. If we're not looking at that and trying to plan for that in the future, on the front end, that becomes a big crutch on the back end after your retirement.
Well, that's just the curse of the appliances. It never fails, I swear. The dishwashers and the washing machines, they just spew all over the floor when somebody retires.
That is true.
And I had a retiree one time that both of them went out, and she said, it's just because I'm using them more because I'm home, so I'm not mad. You know, and I just laughed. I'm like, it seems like something big always seems to happen at the worst time, right? Murphy's Law.
It is, and it's usually like in a series of 3. Like, I don't know why.
Oh my gosh, we've had that situation with HVAC before. It was like bam, bam, bam. I mean, it just kept punching along with all of these expenses. It's crazy how that happens.
It really, truly is. So, Rob, I should ask you, inflation overall, it also becomes a tax problem, if you will, because of the RMD change. Let's talk a little bit how it can become a tax implication issue.
Yeah, so when you're pulling out at 73, your required minimum distribution, it means money you have to take out of your qualified accounts. And when you're pulling that out, that means that's income. If it takes you over certain tax levels, obviously it's going to bump you up in the taxes that you're going to pay in the future. And you have to do this. The government says at that age, and then 2033, that age goes to 75. So it's important that you're getting those RMDs, you're paying those taxes, but it's also good that you're doing it strategically.
Thank you, Rob. Kristina, another thing that people are talking about, and I think this is really interesting, this again is according to Kiplinger, 2/3 of retirees say their financial priority in retirement is to have income stability rather than maintain wealth.
You know, when we see these statistics, Cynthia, it's awesome, and I really love to give good, solid statistics, but folks, that's not what I'm seeing. Pretty much, I'm going to say 9 out of 10 people that I've ever had the privilege of meeting with and the blessing of enjoying hearing about their journey are telling me they're worried about running out of income in retirement, so they want a stable income. And what we normally turn to are, what are those incomes that are going to be stable for you to meet all of those needs? For a lot of people, they depend on Social Security. And Social Security normally accounts for 36 to 40% of the average retiree's income. I'm actually seeing that significantly higher these days.
Wow.
And because people are so dependent on it, well, there's a lot of talk, I mean, just a lot of chatter about Social Security and possibly cutting those benefits.
That is a scary thought.
It is.
It really, truly is. Rob, let's talk a little bit about how when you're designing an income plan and an overall retirement plan for folks when they first come in, how important is it overall to have a factor for inflation in there?
Well, I think that's one of the most important keys: inflation, taxes, your medical expenses in the future that are unforeseen. But inflation, as of late, has been a lot higher than it has been in the past. And I think we've all felt that. We all have that first and foremost on our mind. That and taxes probably go hand in hand at this point. And it is proper and important to plan for that.
Do you find that's the one area that people don't spend a lot of time thinking about when they're thinking about their retirement years, Kristina, inflation overall?
Yeah, absolutely. And when we talk about these storms, if you will, that come along, and you made the best reference one time, we were off camera, and you made a reference about being a lighthouse in all of these storms.
Yes.
Well, a perfect storm inside of retirement, folks, that I'm seeing are taxes are the hidden inflation and inflation's the hidden tax. And when these are all blending together, I mean, it's a hurricane, because what do we do when inflation is so high and you need items, but you're also being taxed higher? That is such a very difficult, and it's a little bit depressing.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing a lot of people that are just really concerned about it.
Sure, people just don't know how to make ends meet, and you want them to thrive in retirement. You're both so passionate about that. You want them to enjoy.
We do, and we hear that from our own family too. And when I talk to my parents, that's the one thing that Dad he brings it up the most, that he just didn't think the inflation was going to be this much, because it hasn't been.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, Kristina, you and Rob have a very special offer to present today to our viewers at home. Let's talk about what that is before we take our first commercial break.
Absolutely. Folks, we're talking about these subjects on these shows, and thank you for all of our loyal viewers. We appreciate you so much. I know that you're concerned about inflation. You're probably concerned about taxes too. So we're going to open those phone lines. We're going to offer a complimentary consultation, and you're going to come in and we're going to see, are you on track for your retirement? If you do not have inflation included in your plan, you don't have a real plan. So what can we do to give you that information? Just call that number on the screen. That's what you need to do.
Kristina, thank you so much. Rob, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, that number to call is on your screen, 877-893-5099. If you're in the viewing audience today and you're worried about inflation and how that's going to impact your retirement overall, this is the perfect opportunity for you to call in, 877-893-5099. And if you don't have your pen handy, you can grab your smartphone. Even simpler, click on that QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That will take you right to Kristina and Rob's landing page. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We're talking about inflation. But when we come back, I want to talk to Kristina and Rob about how annuities fit into the retirement plan. Does that help to curb inflation? Stay tuned.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Kristina Kepperling and Rob Kepperling of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. We're talking all about your retirement plan, but how inflation actually impacts that. We're going to keep continuing on to that. I have tongue twisting right now because we're talking about candy. I'm thinking Twisters. I mean, all these things are going on. But our commercial break, Kristina, we were talking, and Rob, of course, about the price of candy. And I shared with you that my husband and I went to a movie recently, Inside Out 2. It's so cute if you haven't seen it. It's animated. It's fun. But before we went into the movie, we bought a box of Raisinets. And I was so surprised because the box was like so small, and yet the price was through the ceiling. So let's talk about that, the price of candy through the years. Wow.
So what you're telling me is you had to go get a home equity line of credit to go to the movie,
We
right?
sort of did.
It is so expensive. I can't believe it. My granddad used to tell me about when he was a child, he could take a quarter to the movies. It would pay for the movie ticket, a soda, and popcorn. And then after the movie, still had a nickel left over for an ice cream cone. What?
Oh, my
How does that
gosh.
even happen?
I don't know.
And I grew up in a little bitty town called Mendon, Utah, and we didn't have any stoplights or gas stations, but there was a little just country store basically in the front of someone's home, and they used to have these things called penny candies. My kids did not believe me for the longest time that they existed. I literally had to have validation, from my family out there. Like, yes, you could get a piece of candy for a penny. That doesn't exist now.
No.
So I've not really seen anything less than $1, maybe $1.50 for a candy bar.
I agree with you.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, so folks at home, think about when you were a child and how much a candy bar cost. Now we have all these things called fun size and party size for candy. It just is an easy way to say we're making less candy bar for more money. But I was out yesterday and picked up one of those. I found a Score candy bar, and it was $1.80 just for that one candy bar. And if you remember, those are really small candy bars, but it was delicious. It was just one of those impulse buys when I was at the register.
Yes, those get you every time.
Well, he was talking about fun size. That's what my brothers call me.
Well,
Because I'm the shortest in the family.
Because you're
I'm
so
scared
cute
to
and
call her
sweet
that.
too. Well, let's actually flip a little bit into even car prices. Remember our first car? My gosh, I can't
$3,000.
believe the difference. Mine was $1,500. My dad actually paid cash for it.
I just did not have that kind of money. My first car was priced at $375, but I only had $372 saved, and the lady let me have it. I'll never forget that. And it was a 1978 Mercury Bobcat. It was orange, and I had my brights and dims on the floor, and they were like basically a bomb because if you rear-ended them, they were supposed to blow up.
Okay, much cooler than mine.
Crazy. I mean, I just don't even know what to say, but I love that car so much, and it was bright orange, so my dad used to say I was Cinderella in the pumpkin, and I loved it so much. At $372, I think about today, not just the advance in technology, but how much they cost. I've seen cars that are up there $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 just for a regular, mid-brand car.
Yes, it's
So
incredible.
Cynthia, what was your first car?
Dodge Omni. And I thought I was so cool until I heard Kristina's car. And I'm like, I was not cool at all. That was not cool. And I had to roll the windows down, and oh my gosh, it takes me back.
Yeah.
But
the little triangle window, remember those?
Yes.
That you flip out?
And an ashtray. I had an 8-track player. I mean, coolness was on the ultimate level right there.
Oh yes, oh yes. But oh my gosh, things have really changed overall. And just think about, you know, for our young children and young adults, if you will, and they're buying their first thing, even their first home. Let's talk about that, Kristina, because obviously people that are out there buying their first home, that can be a challenge as well with inflation, with interest rates and what have you.
This is unbelievable. I really hate to say it this way, but I feel sorry for those that are trying to buy their first home right now because numbers just don't add up. My first home was $78,000, okay? And I think about what the average wage was. I think minimum wage was somewhere around $550 at that point. So you could actually have a working couple making minimum could still afford to buy a home.
Yeah.
And we would save and put that down payment. And interest rates were not that great, but they were nothing like when I bought a home just, you know, probably 15 years ago. I don't think I paid but a few points. I mean, it was just so inexpensive.
Yeah.
And being able to afford a home is something, I mean, that's the American dream, right?
It totally is the American dream.
You know, I was reading an article, or maybe it was something on Facebook that says, if you want to do something really good for your children, when they turn 18, start charging them rent in the house that they're going to live in, your house. So as they build that up, save it, put it in another account, and then when they go to buy their first house, you can give it back to them.
That's
so that way you're
fantastic.
making them save.
Yes, and that's going towards their down payment. That's brilliant. Well, I want to switch a little bit and talk about annuities and how those actually factor into someone's overall retirement plan. How do they fit into the puzzle?
Well, first off, the Secure 2020 and Secure 2.0 Act have made it to where annuities are supposed to be inclusive in employer-sponsored plans. That's a really big deal. What are they trying to accomplish? What do we love about annuities? Let's go over that love-hate relationship because I know it exists. So first off, most people that are looking for an annuity are looking for some type of a safety bucket, maybe a lifetime income stream out there. All pension plans are annuities. And what we're really looking for is to just make sure and have that stability in retirement. What's wrong with annuities? When you are not put in the correct annuity. Now, annuities are just like automobiles. They continue to advance. I was just having a conversation with a colleague how an annuity, even just 4 years ago, can be beat these days because the rates are different. So we're going to call that refinancing your retirement. So just like with your home, if the rates are better in your favor, you can do the same thing with your retirement and with an annuity.
That's amazing. But there are different types of annuities. Should we break those down to the viewers at home so they can understand?
I think that is so important to know. So just your basic annuities on there, you're going to have what we call a fixed annuity. So this runs a lot like a CD. And we have a multi-year guarantee. Again, a lot like a CD, multi-year guaranteed fixed rate on there. We have variable annuities. One of the ways to remember that is they're very expensive. They do participate inside of securities with that annuity, so that's the reason why they're more expensive is the participation. We also have a fixed indexed annuity. It's great because you can participate in the upside of the market but still protect those funds. So not having the downside, that's awesome in retirement. We also talk about immediate annuities and then tax-deferred annuities. Sometimes they can be both. Inside you can have a fixed index deferred annuity, so that is absolutely possible. And I know that a lot of people get confused. What's the best annuity for you? Well, if you are talking to a professional, you should ask the questions, why is this what's best for me? Show me how and tell me why.
Yes.
If they don't give you an illustration and show you in person, that's not the right professional to be with.
How much does it cost?
Yes.
So look on those, look on your, if you have an annuity out there, look on it, see what it is. If you're unsure, give us a call. We'd be happy to tell you. We'd be happy to give you a second review. But you need to know exactly what you have. And a lot of people aren't sure because they don't understand it to begin with. They think annuities, every one of them is the same. So let's just go with it. And the fact is that they're not. Even like Kristina said, the ones from 5 and 6 years ago aren't the same as the ones today. And you need to have that looked at and see if that's the proper thing for you at this point.
In all fairness, the annuities are like this thick. I mean, they're a big book most of the time.
Wow.
So that can feel a little confusing. When you really break it down, most of it's definitions. And just like you can look up a definition, it can mean one or two different things for someone, or they could interpret it incorrectly. So having someone there to guide you through it, that's very important.
Absolutely.
Again, why is it what's best for you? Show me how and tell me why. And is it supposed to be included in your retirement plan? What are you trying to do?
Yes. Very important. Rob, one of the questions that people have before we take our next commercial break is what happens to the money if you don't spend it and then you die? What happens to the money that's in the annuity?
Again, there's different kinds of annuities that are out there, and there's a large number of them that still have beneficiaries listed, so you can leave the rest of that annuity to family members. And I think that's something that you need to ask on the front end, or if you have something right now, then if you can't see it on the annuity itself, then you need to ask those questions.
Absolutely. Kristina, you and Rob have a very special offer to present today. Let's talk about what that is once again before we reopen the phone lines.
We do, folks. I know a lot of you out there may have an annuity sitting inside of your cabinet, maybe in your firebox, and you have no idea what you have. Pull that out. Let's take a look at it. Let's look at your current statements and see exactly what it is that you have, and is this what's right for you? Do you need to refinance your retirement? Is that what that looks like? So we did open those phone lines. If you take a look at that number below, you can also click on that QR code. We're inviting you in for a complimentary consultation. We're not going to sell you anything. And by the way, if someone sells you an annuity, that's not what's right for you. So come in and see us. Let's sit down and have that conversation about your retirement and what you need in your retirement.
Kristina, thank you so much. And Rob, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, that number to call is 877-893-5099. If you have questions about how to plan your perfect retirement, Rob and Kristina have the answers for you. But you have to do one thing. Call in today, 877-893-5099. If you don't have your pen, that's okay. You can grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That will take you right to Rob and Kristina's landing page. We're going to take a very short commercial break, but Kristina teed it up perfectly. Refinance your retirement. What does that mean? Is it right for you? Stay tuned.
Have you ever considered refinancing your retirement? When interest rates are low, you might be able to refinance your home, your car loan, and even your credit card rates because it could help you keep more money each month. Yet when interest rates go up, it may make sense to refinance your retirement. Higher interest rates could provide income opportunities that you may not be aware of. What works for your portfolio during low interest rates may not work for you when interest rates are high. Find out if a retirement refi could work better for you. Give us a call today and schedule a complimentary Refi Your Retirement Review.
Welcome back to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Kristina Kepperling and Rob Kepperling of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. We're talking all about inflation. We've tapped into annuities, but now we're going to talk about refinancing your retirement. Kristina and Rob, what does that mean? Refinance your retirement, because we think about refinancing our homes, refinancing our cars. How does that impact retirees?
Well, when you're redoing something, you're wanting to make it better, right?
Absolutely.
You think about a kitchen remodel, or you think about maybe replacing some car parts on your automobile. You're doing something to make it better. That's simply what it is.
It's true.
So refinancing your retirement is simply making it better. For a lot of us out there, we don't really talk a lot about this. And let me tell you why. Because it's not easy, but it is what's best for you sometimes. And again, that professional should be able to show you how and tell you why it's what's best for you. Again, just speaking with a couple colleagues, I've got this one amazing colleague that was breaking down some math, and we were going over some of these cases of my clients, just seeing, would this truly be better for them? There was one specific case for someone that the income could go literally double what it is right now if we refinance their retirement.
Wow.
I sent them a text message immediately and said, hey, if we could make sure that your income was going to be double, do you want to take care of that? They're like, yes, send me the document. Let me sign it right now. You know,
yes.
It's kind of a no-brainer. It's like when the interest rates go down a certain point with refinancing your house,
of course,
you know it's what's best for you. And sometimes if the rates cut enough, you can actually cut the term as well, so you have less years that you're paying. So overall, that bottom dollar is what's going to be best.
Makes
you never
perfect
know.
sense.
Your risk tolerance changes throughout life. I know mine's changed over the years.
Sure.
And with inflation and everything else taking its toll, maybe that they want to cut back and they want to be more conservative. Maybe they don't want to take as much risk.
That makes perfect sense. And I love that you brought that up, Rob, because so often people don't even realize how much risk they're taking until they come in to meet with the two of you, correct?
Yes, and it's so funny, Cynthia. I can be sitting across the conference room table with a couple, and one or the other will have a very different risk tolerance. Most of the time, gentlemen, I'm going to see you, let's just say that there's a 1 through 99, and I'll see that 99 is the most risk and 1 is no risk at all. Gentlemen are going to be 50 or above, ladies are 50 and under. That's just the way that runs. Women tend to be more conservative.
Of course.
And that's very normal, and then men take the risk. And I was having that conversation with my brother at one point because we were working on some things in his portfolio, and he's like, well, no kidding, that's why men die young. We do crazy things. You know, we race motorcycles and we're firefighters and police officers, and I think that's so funny how it kind of all ties in together.
It most definitely does. Great point.
Yeah. I think our wives give us honey-do lists that are really dangerous too. I think it's part of it.
Wait a minute, like what? I know, I was like, whoa, no. Don't go there, Rob. Let me save you. Okay, so how can this be a negative, refinancing your retirement? Is it ever a negative when interest rates are high? How does that impact overall? Is there anything we should talk about in terms of negativity?
Yeah, so they could be. So I want to have a conversation about what we call TIPS. They are Treasury Inflated Protected Securities. Now, anytime that you're having a discussion with someone about TIPS, first off, what you're looking for is to hedge against that inflation. If they can't show you by the number why that time period inside of that TIP, and normally those are going to be like a 5, a 20, 30-year situation. So having that conversation about the years is very important. And then also, what is it going to be for you? So is it going to be just a hedging against inflation, or is it going to give you interest to hedge against inflation? Because they do have two different things. So anytime you're talking to someone about a specific type of account, security, annuity, whatever it may be, make sure you know why it's what's best for you. The number one mistake that I see in retirement, Cynthia, is that people have their money in the wrong place.
Okay.
We generally have 3 different places that we put our money in retirement. Number one's going to be basically the money bucket in a bank, okay? It's going to be CDs, money market, checking, savings. The second bucket will be your Wall Street, like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. That's a great place.
Okay.
Then the third will be insurance companies, a lot of times annuities inside of there, sometimes life insurance. Well, having the money in the wrong bucket, what is it supposed to do? Let's say that you have no risk tolerance at all, and all your money is parked in Wall Street. Probably not a good idea. Or let's say that you need to have some growth, but maybe it's only earning not even 1% in a bank. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's say that maybe you have some major health issues and you have to have access to certain amounts of money. Not a good idea, because not all annuities function that way. Or what if it needs to be some income for your spouse? So knowing what the bucket is for and how the bucket works, that's also important.
You don't want your money working against you. You always want it working for you. And I think that's the evaluation that you have to take a look at. Often is going to tell you that, depending on what's going on around us.
Wow, Rob, that is so true. Very, very true. Well, we have less than a minute left. Any final words of wisdom that you would like to give our viewers at home?
Folks, we are very, very happy to help you. We are not here to sell you anything. We like to educate people. We will bring you in. We will talk about your needs. We will give you the information that you desire and that you're looking for, even things that you might not be looking for. And then you can make your decision on what's best for you. But we're here to help. Nothing is to be sold. We're just wanting to give you the information that you need.
It's all about serving. You serve your clients. Kristina, thank you so much, and Rob, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, most specifically, thank you for spending time with us today on Your Powerful Legacy TV. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We look forward to seeing you back 1 week from today. Take care now.